All right. So we'll be doing the microorganism. This chapter you have studied in class 8.
Yes, ma'am.
So microorganism, friend or foe. Foe means enemy, right? So let's see whether they are our friends or our enemies. Now those organisms which we cannot see with our naked eyes, we call those organisms as the microorganisms, or the other name for them is microbes. They're so tiny that what is the instrument used to see them? Tell me.
Magnifying glass.
Mhm.
Oh, microscope, sorry. Microscope.
Yes. Microscope. So for example, you might have observed that during the rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled, right? The blackish appearance comes on the bread. And sometimes its surface gets covered with grayish white patches. Now this you can see and you can observe with a magnifying glass, and you will see black rounded structures. What are these? That's fungus, right? We say that the bread has gone bad because of the fungus on it. Now, microorganisms, these are the tiny, tiny organisms, right? They are present everywhere. Like you can't see them normally, but they are found everywhere. Like even when we are sitting, maybe our desk has a lot of bacteria on it, a lot of virus on it. That depends. So these observations shows that the water and soil are full of tiny organisms, though not all of them fall into the category of microorganisms. The microorganisms or microbes, they are so small in size that you cannot see them with your normal eyes. But some you can see with the help of magnifying glass because they are a little bigger in size, like the fungus. So for fungus, you can use a magnifying glass, but the other ones you have to see them with a microscope. And that is why we call them as microorganisms. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, remember in the like those questions that I asked, one question was what are the organisms that would come under microorganisms? Remember those groups? So these are the groups that come under the microorganism class, that is bacteria, the first one. The major member is bacteria. Then there is fungi, then there is protozoa, and lastly there is algae. So some of these common microorganisms, they are shown in the picture. So see, this is the picture of bacteria. Now bacteria can be spherical in shape, they can be rod shaped, they can be comma shaped, and they can be spiral. That depends. Okay, these are the shapes that the bacteria can be present in. Now viruses, they are also microscopic, but they are different from other microorganisms. Why? Because when you talk about a virus, you can't call it as dead, you can't call it as alive. Meaning, if the virus is present outside our body, then it is dead. But as soon as it gets inside our body, it becomes alive. So, what will you call it? Will you call it dead or alive?
You can't really you can't really call it alive if it's if you don't know where it is, but then if you know if it's inside your body, then you can call it alive. So
Yeah, but that's conditional, right?
yeah.
But when I talk about bacteria, whether they are present in our body or outside, they are always living. So we call bacteria as living. So what do we call viruses? They are not truly living because they have a dual thing. They are dead outside, alive inside. Right? So they are only like they can reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism, which may be a bacteria, which may be a plant or animal. Host means us, in at whom the viruses attack. So those are hosts. So the host can be humans, animals, plants, or even bacteria. So there are many diseases. Do you know one of the most famous disease caused by a virus?
Ma'am, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, the question is, do you know the most famous disease caused by a virus?
COVID.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Other than that, common cold, influenza, which is flu, and many coughs, they are caused by the viruses. Serious diseases like polio, chicken pox, they are also caused by the virus. This is important to remember, okay? Now, diseases like dysentery and malaria, they are called by protozoans, whereas typhoid, tuberculosis, they are caused by the bacteria. So, these are the different diseases caused by the organisms. Any doubts?
Oh, no.
Now, friendly microorganism. Let us see which organisms are friendly for us. Now, microorganisms that are of use to us, right? Like we can use them in some way or the other, then we call those microorganisms as friendly, sort of. So, microorganisms, they are used for various purposes. They are used in the preparation of curd, bread, and cake. And microorganisms have been used for the production of alcohol since ages, meaning from
Ma'am,
long, long.
I can't hear your voice nicely. It's very low.
Is it fine now?
Hello?
Yeah, is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's fine.
I was saying that the microorganisms, they have been used for a really long period of time. Now, apart from making curd, bread, cakes, they are also used in cleaning up the environment. For example, the organic waste, such as vegetable peels, remains of animals.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes,
Ma-
what happened? Network issues?
Ma'am, I can't hear your voice properly.
Is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I got disconnected because of.
Yeah, okay. See, yeah, so we were talking about how the microorganisms, they clean up the environment. It's like any waste that is present in the like environment. These microorganisms, they break that waste down into harmless and like usable substances by the bacteria. So the bacteria, they decompose it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So bacteria, they are also used in the preparation of many medicines. In agriculture, they are used to increase the soil fertility. It makes the soil more and more fertile, like better for the plants to grow in by fixing the nitrogen. It makes nitrogen available in the soil. Okay.
Ma'am, I have one request. Like, instead of doing the whole chapter, can you like just give me some important points of this? Because like I know like all these, but then I just forgot few. But then yeah, and also I got good marks in eighth grade. Like I got 78. Yeah, 78 out of 80. So can you just give me some important points for each lesson so like we can be done with it faster?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. But I'm supposed to uh like okay, I'll teach you. Like it is a big chapter now, so it's like how many of a points I would give. And the reason why I am doing this is because you forgot at that time. That's why. Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am, but then I didn't forget the entire thing. Like
Hmm.
only few points.
Acha. Okay. No problem. But okay, then let's just uh let's just discuss instead of me teaching. Okay. Hmm. So we'll do this chapter only for today. Because it's better that, okay, I understand that your concepts are clear. It's very good that your concepts are clear and that you scored such nice marks, but we still like sort of can revise it, because once we go to class 9th, our concept should be crystal clear no matter what. Okay. So when we talk about where do organism live, now tell me, like, what are the possible places that the organism might live in? Microorganism.
It mostly depends on like the climatic conditions and like the temperature, the moisture. Like in those type of places, mostly like we can find microorganisms.
Yeah, so what are those areas? That's what the thing is about, right? What are those areas? It's
And
okay that
I think deserts, if I'm right.
not just the desert. Deserts is like one of the places. They are found in variety of environments, like polar areas also, like ice cold climate, hot springs and deserts, to even the marshy lands. They are found, other than that, this is the external environment that they are found in. Other than that, they are also found inside the body of animals, like inside, right? Including the human beings. Some microorganisms, they grow on the body of other organism also. So they can be found in the body, on the body, and then in the environment as well. See, this is why. That is why we are revising the chapters, so that whatever you know, the other thing will also be revised. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, microorganisms in us. Now, microorganisms play an important role in our life. Some of them are beneficial, and other, we know that most of the microorganisms cause so many diseases. Can you name some diseases caused by microorganisms other than the ones that we have discussed? Unmute yourself.
Malaria. Uh,
Malaria, yes. It's caused by which
yeah.
microorganism?
Uh, uh, by the one second. Mosquito, but then the microorganism, I think. Uh, mm, is it no protozoa?
Say the word.
Protozoa.
Yes, protozoa. Protozoa causes malaria. What does a mosquito do? It is a carrier, right? It carries the microorganism. Now, talking about the food products that we get, so making of curd and bread. Now, curd, they contain several, like millions and millions of microorganisms in it. One such bacteria that is present in the curd is lactobacillus. Now, lactobacillus, see, what we do while making the curd, we take milk and we put a little bit of the curd that we already have into the milk, and then we leave it at like a little warmer temperature. And then what does happen? That little part of curd that you've added, that contains thousands of lactobacillus. And this lactobacillus, it starts multiplying in the milk and converts it into the curd. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, bacteria, they are also involved in the making of cheese, pickles, and many other food items. An important ingredient of rava, which is suji, idlis, and bhaturas, is the curd, because without it, the food can't be made. Bacteria and yeast. Yeast is what? What kind of an organism is the yeast?
Ma'am, could you repeat your question?
Which kind of the organism is an yeast?
Oh, in what, in like in, oh, could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Like, see, for example, lactobacillus is a bacteria.
Yeah.
So, what is a yeast?
Oh, just 1 second. I think it's also bacteria.
Yeast is the fungus.
Oh yeah,
It
yes,
is a fungus. Clear?
yeah.
So, yeast and bacteria, both of them are useful for fermentation of rice, idlis, dosa batter, and everything of that sort. Now, during the like when the microorganisms they are used to make the alcohol, right? So during that time, the sugar gets converted into alcohol by the yeast. And this process of conversion or the process of formation of alcohol is called as
Okay.
fermentation, right? And fermentation was discovered by this person,
Louis
Louis
Pasteur.
Pasteur. Yes, Louis Pasteur. Now, what happens is that yeast they start to reproduce so quickly that they utilize like all of the oxygen and they produce a lot of carbon dioxide. Okay, and when we talk about that, when we see the baking, right, that is why when we add yeast, nutritional yeast, the dough rises up. The reason being that a lot of CO2 gas has been produced. Clear? Hmm. Microorganisms they are used for the production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid, that is vinegar. Yeast is used for the commercial production. Now also like on a large scale, on a bigger scale, yeast is used for the production of alcohol and wine. And for this purpose, the yeast is grown on natural sugar that is present in grains such as barley, wheat, rice. So, all of these things like barley, wheat, rice, fruit juices, they are fermented and then their sugar gets converted into alcohol. Clear? Now, medicinal use of microorganisms. How they are important in terms of the medicine. Now, obviously, we know that whenever we get sick, we get prescribed with antibiotics, right? The word anti means against, biotic means life. So, the word antibiotic means against life. So, why are we having it if it against life? Because it's not against our life, it's against the microorganism or the pathogen's life, right? So whenever you fall ill, doctor may give you antibiotic tablets, capsules, or injections such as penicillin. The source of these medicines many a times is the microorganisms. The medicines they kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms, and such medicines are called as antibiotics. They stop the microorganism from multiplying. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, these days, a number of antibiotics are being produced from the bacteria, from the fungi. Streptomycin, tetracycline, and erythromycin. These are the names of some antibiotics which are made from fungus and the bacteria. Streptomycin, erythromycin, right, and tetracycline. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the antibiotics they are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and are used to cure a variety of diseases. Obviously, with the help of like these antibiotics only, we can fight the disease that we have. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection in animals. Feed of livestock. What is livestock?
Uh, I think animals. Yeah,
The
like
farm
living.
animals.
Yeah. Ma'am,
The
your
one
voice is. Ma'am, I can't hear your voice.
I'm saying the farm animals.
Yes.
Hmm. And poultry are those birds that are raised for their meat or for their eggs. So antibiotics along with like they are mixed with the food that they are eating, and so that they can also get rid of any kind of pathogen or any kind of microorganism that is there. Clear? And obviously this box says that it is important to remember that antibiotics should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. Other than that, it can kill us also. So we should not experiment. Now, when we talk about viruses, now sorry, not viruses, vaccine. Now, vaccines, they are,
Ma'am, can you hear me? Hello?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello? Ma'am,
Yeah,
your voice is very low.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, now I can hear.
You keep getting disconnected. All right, so we were talking about the vaccines. Now, vaccines, these are like ready-made fighters, like ready-made antibodies. Okay, so whenever a disease-carrying microbe enters our body, disease-carrying microbe can also be called as a pathogen. So whenever a pathogen enters our body, the body produces antibodies so that our body can fight with the foreign invader. So the fight, like, and also for like for example, if a person had the first time the microbe is entering his or her body, now the body prepared the antibodies to fight. Now if the person gets the same pathogen again, then it will have the ready made antibodies ready to fight. Clear? Now, when the dead or weakened microbes are introduced into a healthy body, the body fights and kills the bacteria by producing antibodies. So, antibodies they remain in the body and we are protected from the disease causing microbes. This is how a vaccination works. There are several diseases such as cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, and hepatitis that can be prevented by vaccination. So, when a person gets vaccinated, he or he gets the this thing weakened pathogen. So pathogen enters our body and our body naturally makes antibodies. So when that pathogen will actually enter from the environment or wherever it is supposed to, then in that case, our body will have the ready-made antibodies so that it can attack. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And who discovered the vaccine for the smallpox disease? So it was Edward Jenner. he discovered it. Now, see, Edward Jenner, he discovered the vaccine for smallpox. And because of him, today smallpox does not exist. Like, this disease is not present in the world now because it has been eradicated. Do you know the meaning of eradication? Eradication means completely wiped off. It's not present anymore. Okay, so no one gets this disease because of vaccination. It has been completely killed, all the pathogens. Now, the injections, it is very important for us to be protected from a variety of disease causing microorganisms. Also, it is essential to protect all the children against these diseases. Necessary vaccines are available in the nearby hospital. You might have seen the advertisement on TV and newspapers regarding protection of children against polio under the Pulse Polio program. So polio drops. It's like, have you had polio drops? Do you remember having polio drops? No. Like people, they go from house to house and then they give the like children of the family tiny drops in their mouth so as to prevent the polio. Now, a worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication, meaning completely finished. Okay, so smallpox does not exist anymore. These days, vaccines are made on a large scale from microorganisms to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. So, vaccines are extremely important for us because they help us to stay alive and they protect us from the diseases. Clear? Any doubts? Anything you want to ask?
No.
Okay, very good. Now talking about increasing the soil fertility. Let us see that how does the microorganism increases the fertility of the soil. Can you tell me what is the difference between a fertile soil and an infertile soil?
Like it's mainly when like a soil contains humus, and then like humus has many benefits. Like the roots can go deep into the soil, and then
But okay, but tell me if there is any soil that doesn't have humus, will that soil be fertile?
no.
No, it will still be fertile. See, a fertile soil is the soil which has all the nutrients, all the minerals, and enough water so that the plant can grow well.
Humus also is technically important.
It's important, but if there is a soil which doesn't have humus, then that doesn't make the soil infertile.
Yeah, but then like if it doesn't have humus and nutrients, it is.
Then it is infertile. Yes. Now, these microbes, they are commonly called as biological nitrogen fixers. Now, see, there are some bacteria that make nitrogen from the atmosphere available in the soil. And because of that, the fertility increases. Clear? Any doubts?
Ma'am, could you repeat the sentence which you just said?
Hmm. I said that, see, the soil that has abundant of nitrogen, a soil that has abundant of phosphorus, sulfur, all of these things, that kind of a soil will be considered as fertile soil. If the soil doesn't have these minerals, then the soil will not be considered as fertile. Clear?
Yes,
Hmm. And the nitrogen is made available in the soil by the nitrogen fixers. These are bacteria that make the nitrogen be available in the soil. Then, talking about cleaning the environment. Now, cleaning the environment, it means that mostly it means decomposition. Can you tell me what is decomposition? What is decomposition?
It's like it's like removing all the bad waste materials, so like decomposing it.
Okay, who does it? Who removes it?
The good bacteria inside,
Not just bacteria,
and
but
also like
microorganisms.
yeah.
Okay, those organisms that are decomposers. They remove the dirt and all
We
of
can
that.
also call them decomposers.
Yeah, you can call them decomposers. They are definitely called as decomposers. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, many a times these decomposers, these microorganisms, they digest the waste product, and as a result, they make a lot of nutrients. Yeah. Now, many a times we find that there is a dead animal or a dead plant on the road or in the soil on the ground. But then, after maybe a week or 2 weeks, then you see that nothing is there. So, what happened to it? It got decomposed because of the microorganisms, the dead organic waste. Organic means the living waste, like that organism that if it gets digested, if it gets like disappeared, then we call it as what? Decomposition has taken place. Okay. So it doesn't always stay. If it is organic waste, if it is living organism, then only it will get decomposed. Do you think plastic will get decomposed? No, definitely never. Even after hundreds of years, that plastic will still remain. So, what happens is that these microorganisms they convert the organic waste into important soluble things. Apart from that, the microorganisms can be used to detect the harmful and smelly substances and thereby clean up the environment. So, they are very helpful to us because not only do they help in making our food products, but they also help in cleaning up the environment. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Then comes harmful microorganisms. Now, all those microorganisms that cause diseases in our body, we call them as harmful. And those disease causing microorganisms, we call them as
That
pathogens.
was it.
Hmm. So some microorganisms they spoil the food, they spoil the leather and clothing. So let us see one by one. Now disease causing microorganisms they need a host. Host can be human, animal, plant. So need the host for their reproduction. That is why they attack us. So pathogens they can enter our body through the air we breathe, the water we drink or the food we eat because it's so tiny that you can't even see it on your water or on your food. So you eat it. But inside our body, maybe it can cause a lot of problems. That is why we are advised not to eat from the street vendors because you never know how dirty or how clean it is. So you will end up having food poisoning. Clear? Have you ever had food poisoning?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of which food item?
Uh, one time, like I ate from the Indian like streets. I ate like pani puri, and then like I got food poisoning.
Why? Because it had a lot of pathogens in it, dirt in it, and all of that. Because they are selling it on the roadside only, and so many dust and microorganisms can come. Now, for example, if we talk about cold, common cold. So, for example, if I have a cold and you come and sit beside me, will you catch a cold?
Yes.
Yes. So all those diseases that can spread from an infected person to a healthy person, we call them as communicable disease. Communicable. Like it can communicate. It can go from one infected organism to another, such as cholera, common cold, chicken pox, tuberculosis, all of these are the examples of the communicable diseases. But then when you talk about the diseases that cannot be communicated, like you can say spread, so we call them as non-communicable diseases. Do you know the name of any disease that cannot be spread like that? Like if a person has it, then it doesn't mean that the other person will also.
I might know, but then like right now I can't think. I think no wait. A disease from a mosquito can't be spread, right? So malaria, I think it's not spread.
Malaria also like cannot spread from one person to another person. Another disease is, but malaria, like the malarial carrier, the mosquito, can bite another human and that person can also have malaria. But when we talk about a disease called as cancer, right? If a cancer patient is there, no one is going to get that disease. Okay.
This one.
Now, the housefly is one of the carrier of a lot of microorganisms. Houseflies are filthy. They are so dirty. They sit on animal excreta, human excreta, and then they come and sit on our food. So they are, I hate houseflies. So when we talk about the pathogens, so the pathogens they stick to the body of the flies such as housefly or a mosquito, and when the flies they sit on uncovered food, they may transfer the pathogen to the food. If it is sitting in like in our food, then we get the pathogen from them. So whoever eats the contaminated food is likely to get sick, right? That person will have chances of being sick because of the pathogen introduced in the body. So it is advisable to keep the food covered at all times. Never leave it uncovered. Apart from that, avoid consuming uncovered items or food. Another example of a carrier is Anopheles mosquito. Now, mostly the mosquitoes because of which we get the mosquito borne diseases, the mosquitoes are female. The mosquitoes that bite us are female. Why? Because it is the female that basically carries the eggs. Clear? Like Anopheles mosquito is the carrier of which disease? Malaria. And
And Aedes mosquito is for dengue.
which one?
Aedes.
Hmm, correct. So female Aedes mosquito is for dengue virus. Now, all the mosquitoes they breed in water, meaning they lay their eggs in the water. Hence, we should not keep a water pool around our house. Hence, we should not keep the water stagnant because the like the mosquitoes they will breed on. Clear? Any doubts? So this is the table that tells us the disease, the organism which causes the disease, the mode of transmission, like where can a person get this disease from, and the preventive measures. The first one is tuberculosis, which is a bacterial disease. And a person gets tuberculosis from air. So if a person who has tuberculosis sneezed, then maybe the person who doesn't can have it. Then preventive measures. What are those options or measures that we can see to keep these diseases away from us? So keep the patient in complete isolation. Keep the personal belongings of the patients away from those of the others. Vaccination should be done at a very, very young age. So this was about tuberculosis. Measles is caused by a virus, and this is also got from like we get it from the air. Then there is the chicken pox, which is caused by the virus, and this also air and contact. The polio, it is caused by the viruses, and it is like it can be transmitted through the air and through the water. Clear? This first column is clear?
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
me. Okay. Then comes cholera and typhoid. Both of them are bacterial diseases, and both of like these diseases are caused either by eating or drinking contaminated food or water. Now, what are the preventive measures? How can we protect? So, to maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits, consume properly cooked food and boil drinking water, and then lastly, vaccination. All of these are the preventative measures. Hepatitis A, this one is like it is caused by a virus, and the mode of transmission is through water. So we should drink boiled water or filtered water or RO water. Clear? Lastly, there is malaria. Now, malaria is a disease caused by the protozoa, which and it is carried by the mosquito. So when mosquitoes they go from one human to another human, they transfer these protozoa, these malarial pathogen, which is called as a plasmodium. That plasmodium gets transmitted, and how a person gets the malaria. Any doubts up until now, dear?
No, ma'am.
All right. So, moving forward, disease causing microorganisms in animals. So, apart from humans, apart from plants, the microbes they also cause diseases in other animals like cattle, cow, pigs, buffaloes, like that. So, for example, this thing. Anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease which is caused by bacterium. It's a very deadly disease. Now, disease causing microorganisms in the case of plants. Now, the several microorganisms they cause diseases in the plants. Like, what are those diseases? What are those plants? Wheat, rice, potato, then sugarcane, orange, apple, and so many more. So the device, they like the disease reduce the yield of crops. If a crop gets diseased, then that means the crop will die, and then the yield, the final collection will be very, very less. So they are controlled by chemicals that we call as pesticides or this thing, insecticides to kill them. Clear? Any doubts? Alright, dear, we'll keep it till here only for today's class. And do you have any doubts up until now? Tell me.
No, ma'am, I got it.
Okay. So we'll continue in the next class, and then we'll start our class 9th chapter. Like we'll continue the class 9th chapter. Do you have any doubts from the questions?
Ma'am, can I tell you the homework which you gave for?
Tell me.
Yeah, I'll just tell the answers.
Yeah, yeah.
The first answer is I wrote a cell is important, or it is called the fundamental unit of life because it I mean, as all living organisms are made up of cells, and cell is also capable of independent existence.
Very good.
Yeah, there was also one question in which who discovered the dead cell? So Robert Hooke discovered it. And
Hmm.
then, how do you see microorganisms? Yeah, like that was the question. So I wrote microscope.
Hmm. Did you write just microscope or did you write the whole line? Like we see the microorganisms.
No, I saw the answer and then I just wrote microscope.
Okay. But the next
Yeah,
time
but
try to write the full.
in
In
exams
exam.
and
Main thing is that in exams you're supposed to write full answers, because if you'll just write microscope, the teacher will be like, was she lazy? Okay, so always write the full answer. Okay, I'll check your paper. You have uploaded it, your answer sheet.
No, I'll upload from the next homework.
You do upload it so that I can check it. And if there's any improvement, and I would also like to see your handwriting, how you are writing, everything I have to analyze. Okay, so that is why.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
it nicely. Don't just do it like, do it nicely, because I will check, because I will give you tips to make it even better, so that in the final, in the exams, your answer sheet would look like those handwriting practice notebooks. Beautiful. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay,
Thank you.
dear, let's just keep it till here only. I'll see you in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye now.
Bye bye, dear.